Hey, it's 1:46 a.m. Sunday, February 23rd, and I'm in the bathroom at home right now. I feel like absolute shit, um, for multiple reasons. One, the main biggest one is that I'm on my period right now, and the physical problems that it's causing me this week is just bad. I feel tired but restless. I want to go to bed, but I can't go to sleep, and I kind of want to stay up at the same time. Also, fuck. Also, I. I was gonna say something, but I don't remember what it was. That's something that's been bothering me too lately. Is my shitty memory. Oh yeah, uh, writing for brownies and encephalon and FantasiaPop. Well, I'm not going to be actually be writing for FantasiaPop, but I thought about a little bit of it. Let me try and start with one at a time. That would probably be easier for me. Okay, so one, the littlest one that I've been thinking about, or the one that I've been thinking about the least, is Fantasia Pop Rose. Now, I already have her, like, her powers, like the powers she would get at the Lab Salon. I have that figured out. Um, I didn't have to think about her personality except for a few little quirks here and there. But other than that, she's basically the same as she is in Encephalon, just even better than that version. Uh, Basically, the Encephalon version is a little better than me, and the Fantasia Pop version is a little better than the Encephalon version of me. Uh, so that's pretty much it. Also, Fantasia Pop Rose has a raccoon and a cat, whereas the Encephalon version of Rose has a raccoon and a Volbiline. That I'm only keeping it like that because I don't know if Volbilines exist in Fantasia Pop or not. If they do, if there's a way and or reason that Volbilines are also in Fantasia Pop, then I will give Fantasia Pop Rose a Volbiline as well. So I guess you could say that the cat is more of a placeholder than an actual finalized decision. Um, I thought about writing a little story with Fantasia Pop Rose, but I decided against it because, one, Fantasia Pop as a universe is still in its baby phase. It's barely had any development. Also, I haven't even thought much about what's already been developed, you know? So I don't know. It's probably going to be a while before I decide on what I'm going to do with that universe, especially since I had already thought so much about Encephalon. Uh, which, by the way, I read back through Living in Smilesville again, and the more I read it, the like I can't tell if I get more disappointed or more satisfied with it. I feel so weird about this story because its development took forever. It was a painful writing process. I couldn't even figure out what I wanted to do. And now that I have finished it, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, there are some tweaks here and there that I would have finished, or that I would have worked on. Or tweaks that I would have made. Sorry, I'm tired and weird. I don't know how to talk. But there were some tweaks in it I would have made, and also maybe if I were to rewrite it, which I most likely won't. Fuck that. But if for some reason I decided down the road that I wanted to rewrite it, I would make it longer. I would put more emotion in it. I would talk more about my others. I would delve more into my thoughts about living in Smilesville and how I moved away from Wayward City. Shit like that. But anyway, another thing that I was thinking about was writing for brownies, obviously with that version of Rosewood. Um, Obviously I'm still bewildered that Rose is even canon in it still. I'm not over that. I will never get over that. I will never comprehend that it's actually happening. I think the only time that this is really going to sink in for me is when I hear that first story narrated for the first time, and I hear my words, my story, read by a narrator and voice acted by me. Ew. A bunch of butterflies just exploded in my stomach when I said that. I fucking hate that. Oh god. I hate thinking about that. But anyway, I put a little bit of a thing, a little tiny change in of Demons and Rose Petals. It wasn't that much. It was like a sentence or two that I added and like one little put of dialogue. Um, but I pretty much have that story where I want it until Kara is ready to work on it again. Um, so yeah, I'm pretty much done with that. I keep getting off track. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm tired and I feel like shit. Okay. I was thinking about writing some kind of side story or something with Rosewood in it, or just anything brownies related, because I feel this strong compulsion to write something, like this deep desire, like I have to write something, dude. I feel it. I don't know what it is and I have no ideas, but I feel like I need to write something and I don't know what it is. The problem I'm having is that I don't know if I should just go with it and just start writing literally anything, or if I should wait until an idea shows up. Maybe I should start brainstorming, you know? Maybe I should put some real fucking effort into what I make for once, you know? Because apparently I don't seem to be interested in doing that these days. Ever since I quit DeviantArt, my interest in creating has just dropped like a stone in water. You know, I really don't know what to do about that. I've talked at length about that a lot. You know, about how I suck at creating, about how I hate my ideas, about how little motivation I have to improve, how little interest I have in improving. Really, if I'm gonna get right down to it, I'm just thinking I'm just getting to the point where I'm thinking that it's completely pointless, you know? Where the idea of creating anything, whether it be writing or drawing or anything, it's just, there's no point. There's no point in trying, there's no point in anything, like, right? Like, most of that comes from my idea that I will never get better no matter how hard I try, and that, I don't want to wade through being shit just to be good at something that won't even get me anywhere in life. You know, I'm struggling enough trying to I'm struggling enough trying to step out of my depression just enough to even take care of myself, right? Cuz here's the thing. The last couple years my depressive moods have been getting they haven't been getting worse because they've been getting less severe but more prevalent. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Like, I don't really have mental breakdowns anymore for whatever reason. I used to have them a lot when I was going to high school. I'm 18 now, by the way. I graduated summer last year. Uh, but the last time I remember actually having a mental breakdown was when I was going to high school, right? Like when I was still actually going to school, and it was bad. It was bad. I had breakdowns all the time back then because there was triggers everywhere. There was bad shit happening. Things were just bad, right? And things got a little better over the years. Granted, I'm more depressed more often. I'm depressed more often these days, but I haven't had a breakdown in a long time. I have my episodes, I have my moments where Ren takes a little bit of control, but I can kind of hold him off, right? And for those of you who don't know, Ren is my clinical depression other. Uh, and if you don't know what an other is, I don't know, I'll just put a link or something, right? But I'm I don't even know where I'm going at this point. I started with like three little things in mind to talk about, and now I'm just kind of lost. This usually happens with my recordings where I'll start and I'll either have an idea in mind before I even hit record, or I'll hit record, ramble about nothing, get an idea for a second, and then it'll leave me. uh, these. Listen, I was on my computer the other night. I think it was yesterday night, and I was listening to my recordings. And as I looked through them, as the days progressed, and as I recorded more journals, the gaps between the journals got bigger and bigger, and they became more and more fragmented over time, and the contents of them became more and more awkward, and there was less real sustenance in them, I guess you could say, right? And that concerns me. One, because maybe I'm starting to realize through talking to myself that maybe I don't have the kind of problems that I thought I did, right? Also, I'm recording these as I'm aging. So there's probably just natural changes that are happening in my mind, and listening to these recordings is just making me realize it. Because when you grow and change as a person, I guess a lot of times you don't really notice the changes that you're making in your mind, right? Like the way you perceive things and the way you talk changes, and sometimes you don't really notice it. And I think that's what's happening here, but me being conscious of it might be making me more confused than it would if I didn't pay attention to it. I don't know. Humans are humans are complicated creatures, you know. We have big labyrinth brains that most other creatures don't have, and not to say we're smarter than others. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we tend to be more complicated emotionally. Especially with mental illness that certain people don't understand. I keep wanting to get into that. I really do. I keep wanting to get into that. I mention it a lot. I don't want to get into that because it's going to make me mad. It's going to make me sad. It's going to make me resentful. It's going to boil my hatred again. I don't want that. I'm not going to get into that. Okay, I should stop mentioning that in these recordings, especially in the ones that I may or may not upload. Okay, I'm going to try not to do that anymore. Which reminds me, uh, the only time that I ever have anything to say in these is when I'm rambling about something totally unnecessary, and that unnecessary thing reminds me of something important, right? Like, because for some reason I can never actually remember anything important on my own, which fucking sucks. Um, and I've almost gone 12 and a half minutes without pausing this more than a couple times. That's pretty sick. Uh, I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck. Um, but yeah, going back to the brownies thing, I really want to give Rosewood some more development, but I'm too scared of writing anything brownies related without Kara like looking over my shoulder and making sure that what I'm writing is okay. And also, aside from that, I'm just not confident enough in my own ideas to write anything. I'm a like, I'm gonna be real. I'm afraid of being bad at something. I'm afraid of my stuff sucking. I'm afraid at messing up or failing. I'm scared of that. I'm a perfectionist, but I hate myself. You know, you don't realize how toxic that kind of thing is until you're hit by it full force. And I am every day, every time I look at my stuff. I'm surrounded by my art in my room. My dresser's full of it. My desk is full of it. My desk is covered in it. It's scattered about my floor and stuff. My room is a fucking mess. I need to clean it. But I'm scared of failing at things. I don't like even trying because I feel like I'm not worth the effort, first of all. Second of all, I feel like I'll never get any better no matter how hard I try. It's just a hopeless cycle that keeps going and going. And I don't know really what to do about it. It makes me feel like shit, even more like shit than I usually feel. That derailed a little bit. I didn't expect it to derail like that. I'm sorry. When I record these, I don't record them with any specific updates in mind or any specific topics. I just start talking and see what happens. And usually it ends up getting super depressing, and the stuff that I try to bury comes out, and it gets bad. And it gets sad. Sometimes it'll be rad, depending on my mindset. I'd say this one's pretty rad compared to most of my other boring ones, but those boring ones I don't let anybody listen to because they're fucking boring. So, yeah, now I'm sitting here trying to figure out what else I think I need to get off my chest. I'm talking to Kara more. I'm actually being able to carry conversations with this, which is a huge step forward for me. Uh, However, I haven't talked to Lucas in quite some time. I don't know. See, there's this thing, right? Whenever I talk to people, whenever I've had friends, something that bothers me a lot is when I leave them without saying anything to them for a while, but they don't say anything to me. So the thing that I'm worried about is, are they not saying anything to me because they don't give a shit? Or are they not saying anything to me because they're waiting for me to say something? Right? Because the only reason I don't say anything to people usually is because I don't want to bother them. Even if it's to say something like, hi, how you doing? Even if it's something as simple as a friendly, like, greeting, I'm too scared to say it because I feel like I'm bothering people. You know? Is the reason why they're not responding to me the same thing? Like, they feel the same way towards me? Or do they just not care? Right? Like, that kind of thing freaks me out. It makes me super paranoid. I don't know what to feel when somebody doesn't talk to me for a while. I try to figure out, like, should I say something or should I wait for them to say something? Because I don't know what's going on in their head, right? I don't know how they feel about me. I don't know what they think of me. So I can't make assumptions. I don't know. It's weird. Relationships are weird and complicated, and I hate them, and I don't know what to do ever. I never know what to do. It freaks me out. It scares me. Most of the relationships I had growing up were with old, angry, drunk people. I never got to really talk to kids my age or anything. I never got to talk to normal people with normal brains that were actually nice, except for my grandma. But even then, when she back when I was a little kid, she was still smoking and she was angry. You know, these days she's the nicest person I know aside from my mom, but I feel like my mom suppresses a lot of things. I'm not going to talk about my parents. Talking about my parents is a rabbit hole that I'm not ready to jump into yet, okay? But I didn't get to interact with lots of normal people or people that could be perceived as normal and functional. You know, I didn't talk to kids. I talked to old, angry, drunk people. Or people on drugs that acted fucking off the walls all the time, you know? I've only known dysfunctional people and dysfunctional families. That's all I know. I don't my mic did a weird thing there. I don't know if that caught the end of that or whatever. But anyway, I've never really talked to normal people very much in my life, you know? I don't understand how relationships work, you know? Because of a certain event that happened in my life a while back, a few years ago, I am now clinically depressed and socially anxious, and the worst part is that it all just came out of nowhere. It all crashed down onto me all of a sudden, and it hurt, and it was scary, and it's still scary. Even though I'm older and I have more sense about me, it's still scary, man. And I don't even understand myself. I don't understand my own emotions. I'm scared of people, and I'm paranoid of people, and I'm jealous, and I'm sad for no reason. And I think about things that happened years ago. I'm super obsessive. I'm anxious, and things just seem to be getting worse all the time. Seems like I'm so hopeless. I have no hope. things have just been getting way worse. And I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I can't take care of myself. My personal hygiene is a major roadblock for me, right? Like, I don't even have the motivation or interest in taking a fucking shower. I can't remember when the last time I brushed my teeth was because I just don't want to do it. And I'm a baby bitch for it. I'm a baby bitch because I don't even want to take care of myself. Can you believe that shit? Well, if you're depressed too, you probably can. I say that as if I assume there aren't depressed people that may or may not be watching this. Anyway, that's not the point. Lately, my memory has been shit, and I've been getting more scatterbrained, and I'm getting more scared of things. And it's getting to the point where I can barely stand it. I like how this stemmed from just me talking to somebody. This all came from a good place, too. I was talking about how I was talking to Kara more, and then I started talking about how I didn't talk to Lucas, and then it just spiraled down into a fucking depressive pit. Fuck. This is why I don't talk. It brings up shit that I don't want to talk about, and it makes me feel bad. And it's not like I have solutions to get this shit out of my head because I'm fucking depressed. Fuck, man. Oh, I hate this. I'm surprised I've actually had enough to say in the span of 20 minutes. To the point where I haven't had to pause it that much. That's impressive. Maybe I should talk more. I don't know. I recorded a bunch of journals a while back. A couple days ago, I did record a bunch of journals, but they were all a bunch of nonsense. Maybe that kicked me off into, the world of speaking again, because I don't talk very much. I don't even talk to my own family very much. However, I have been more jokey and more social than usual, which makes me more exhausted because I'm an introvert with social anxiety, and both of those things combined make me just unable to carry on anything normal socially. You can probably also tell from how monotone I tend to be. I say that, but when I listen back to these, I'm not nearly as monotone as I thought. There have been a few journals where not only did I entertain myself from just acting like a fucking idiot, but I also realized that sometimes I can be pretty expressive, which makes me happy because I oftentimes sound way more hostile than I mean to be. Apparently, that's what a lot of people around me have said. And if a bunch of people around you are saying the same thing, you should probably take that into consideration and think about it. Um, yeah. Think about the way that you act and the way that you sound very carefully, especially if you really do care about the feelings of the people around you. Which, I mean, look, I don't give a shit about somebody that I don't know. I couldn't care less about somebody that I don't know, right? But when it comes to somebody I do know and that I do care about, obviously I care about how they feel. I care about the tone that I use. Even if I don't want to use a certain tone, if it'll hurt their feelings, I'm not going to use it, right? Or I'm going to try not to use it, naturally. I just blanked there for a second. I do this a lot. I'm so sorry. I don't even remember what I was talking about. I forget what I'm talking about mid-sentence a lot. Fuck, man. I don't even know where I was going with that. I don't remember what I started from. I was talking about my tone or whatever. I think I remember where I was going. Damn it. I'm gonna have to pause this. Hold on. I don't fucking remember where I was going. Damn it, I was doing so good too. I went on for so long without pausing, and I was actually talking about like sort of important things, I guess. Fuck, man. Oh yeah, I remember something else I was gonna get off my chest. I've decided that after ranting and complaining and bitching about it for so long, I'm leaving the narration thing alone. I'm just gonna try not to think about it in a serious way at all. I'm laying it down, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm just not gonna fucking worry about it anymore. I'm not in the position to record voice lines, right? Voice acting. I said narrations, but I meant voice acting. I'm not in the position to record voice lines. I don't have the equipment to record voice lines, and I'm not in the headspace to record voice lines. Right? Because you can want to voice act all you want, but if you don't have the slightest idea what you're doing, you might as well just forget about it, right? I haven't even practiced voice acting. I think I've done stuff like that like 2 or 3 times ever. The only time I can ever make a, like, when I read something off sound good is when when it came from a deep place in my heart and I feel about it. But you can still tell that I'm reading a fucking script, so whatever. I mean, it's not something I should be thinking about. I'm not in the position to be thinking about it. I'm just gonna try my best to let it go. Besides, I shouldn't be worrying about when I get voice lines recorded when Kara is already having roadblock after roadblock in her development of stories and narrations, right? Because just recently, Raytana popped off with some bullshit on Twitter and started acting like a baby over a fucking suggestion. Look, I'm sorry I said that. I'm not gonna bring that up, okay? Don't ask. You're probably gonna ask anyway, but don't ask. I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna cut that out. Kara's been dealing with some trouble. Just, it seems like things are happening one after the other, and it just keeps going, and shit keeps popping up, and shit keeps going terribly, and, like, from my perspective, it just doesn't. It looks like shit, man. Like, I can't imagine what must be going through her head. Like, when we talked earlier, she seemed to be in pretty good spirits. Like, she was doing pretty well, especially since, as I'm recording this, as I talk right now, a while back, she tried some new antipsychotics that seemed to be working really well for her. She's also conjoining that with her weed smoking, which I will not express my opinion about, because that's some drama bait that I don't want to start. But she combines her weed smoking with her antipsychotics and whatever medication she may or may not be taking. And she said it makes her feel really good. It makes her feel human. It makes her feel calm and happy and collected. And I could not be happier for her, right? Because I'm clinical depressive, but she's bipolar, and that there's a whole new layer to bipolar that I don't have to deal with, and I can't even imagine, right? I've never seen anyone who's even hypomanic before. I don't know what that's like. I can't imagine it. And to see that she's doing well and coping and being jolly when things are going shit, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good, especially since she's becoming a type of role model to me like Raytana Sation was. That makes me feel better. Especially since my character's canon in her fucking story now, which I say I will never get used to. This is going on for a while, man. I've got a few things to cut out, I think. Like awkward silences, and then I think I mentioned one thing that I don't want to be said. Or I mentioned one thing that I don't want to be heard in here. So I'll cut a little bit out, but I think it will be around 25 minutes, depending on whether this goes on longer or not. I don't know. Apparently, when I record, these things just seem to pop up at random. You know, I don't know. I never know what I'm talking about. But I've been sitting here recording for almost half an hour. I think I will try to end this here. That was an interesting recording session. I don't know if I'm going to record another journal soon or when the next time I upload one might be. I don't know. If there's any background noise that ends up being too obnoxious in this later, I may or may not upload it. I probably might decide not to upload it. I don't know. Alright. Too indecisive. Too much going on. I gotta end this here. Alright, see you, man.